Welcome to the Microsoft Executive Spotlight Series. I'm Rishan Bharat, a leader at Microsoft Canada. My colleague Mike Darcy and I are hosting a company today called Accelerate 360. Accelerate 360 is a distribution, sales, marketing, and media conglomerate that provides customized solutions for retailers and consumer product brands across each of their lines of business. With over 100 years of legacy experience, the company has a proven track record in direct store delivery, aka DSD, and direct to consumer, aka DTC fulfillment, as well as sourcing, retail program development, marketing, sales, category management, and media solutions. Accelerate 360 is also the largest magazine wholesaler in the US and owns over 30 media brands, including US Weekly and the Men's Journal. The company's internal brand and marketing studio manages proprietary brand development and marketing services throughout their ecosystem. Mark Davison, the head of digital transformation and chief technology officer, joins us today, along with Matt Ratner, the chief strategy officer for the organization. Mike and I have asked them to join us today to talk a little bit about their business, but also share a little bit about their innovative models and how they've been partnering with Microsoft to achieve more. Mark, Matt, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Rishan.
I want to kick this off with a little bit of a background. I shared a quick intro there on your organization, but maybe you can tell us a little bit more about Accelerate 360, a little bit about your business model, your culture, your values, and some of your strategy that you're comfortable with sharing.
Sure, I'll take that one. The business model is pretty simple. We're building a turnkey solutions for brands and retailers that enable them to leverage all of our services across all commerce, whether it be retail, e-commerce, digital, all the above. Obviously underpinning that is the massive partnership we have with Microsoft and the major tech stack we're propping up. From hyper automated logistics to automated processes and services. We're really excited about the partnership in general with Microsoft and been very happy so far.
That's a really good background there, right? Just in terms of the multifacets of components within the organization. I think maybe one of the things you can share with us a little bit is around your customer service, just in terms of customer satisfaction and customer enablement, right? Of course, the perpetual elephant in the room has been the pandemic that every organization had to deal with, right? Maybe talk to us a little bit about your business principles and how you've been serving customers through the pandemic.
We really have customers in two ways. We have our retail customers, we have brand customers, and we have consumers, right? But the consumers we access through our retail partners and the brands that we service. And obviously through the pandemic, it was really about how do we make sure that everyone's happy, and it really accelerated, no pun intended, the growth of our organization and how we went about our business, and really highlighted all the things that we were already planning for and already had strategies for. It really just launched us into a different class, a different game, and really just a lot of obviously bad things happened with the pandemic, but for our business and what we were able to accomplish, with the partnership with Microsoft and what we're embarking on now is really exciting. And it's all about making sure our customers, our consumers are satisfied at the end of the day.
Let's drill into that a little bit more, Matt. So how would you say you set yourself apart from the competition, and how do you leverage technology to do so?
It's very interesting you asked that question. When people ask, who are your competitors? I say we have every competitor in the world. We do so many different things. Our solution, the Accelerate 360 solution set, really is six buckets overall. Omni-channel sales, whether it be brick and mortar retail, e-commerce, salons, you name it, right? Everywhere. Then we have our logistics division, right? We're highly automated. You go into a highly automated environment, very efficient, billions of units a year. And then we have our media, right? The media piece of it is something that really no one else has. The fact that we own, all these major consumer brands, Us Weekly, Men's Journal, Life and Style, In Touch, Powder Surfer, all those. And then we have our marketing, our brand, our marketing agency, the Brand Highway, which has a whole slew of services, digital marketing, channel marketing, trade marketing, all the above that help brands really kind of hone in on who their consumer is, their brand identity, their essence. Then we have our sourcing capabilities, and then our data. if you were a brand and trying to accelerate their business, right, and you wanted the same services that we had overall, you'd have to go to 20 different companies, right?
Mhm.
So we have all those services in one cohesive unit, right? The companies that that are in the marketplace that were our competitors, they have one. So it's really it's a holistic just umbrella for brands and suite of services and solutions that any brand of the world can come to us and we can find a way to provide value to them. And that's that. And at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to, right? And so from a competition perspective, we have every competitor and no competitors, right? Which is a very interesting perspective on our business. And from a technology perspective, you know, we're going from 0 to 100 really quick, right? We're going from really a legacy environment that didn't see a lot of innovation in the publishing media world in a long time to a hyper automated, super advanced technology, um, automation with processes, and just efficiency across the board. And Microsoft is obviously enabling us. I mean, if you look at our technology stack overall, I mean, it's very extensive, and obviously Microsoft is leading the way with that.
You talked a lot about, that's a great answer there, great context there as well, right? You talked a lot about the multiple focuses that you have just in terms of a cohesive unit and, many competitors, but no competitors at the same time. There must be a strong element, as you described there, of innovation technology to enable you as an organization to support your customers, but also support your internal processes. And I know one of the things you described there also was automation, creating things like seamless automation to optimize things like operations within the organization, et cetera, right? So maybe you can touch a little bit about, innovation and technology, as Chief Strategy Officer, and of course, as Head of Digital Transformation on your side, Mark, like, how do you see technology and innovation really enabling a lot of your growth drivers to focus on all those multifacets of business and then support customers in that regard as well?
Innovation is a very interesting word to me. I liken it to disruption. And that is really the lens in which I look at everything. And you asked about our culture earlier. We're really focused on execution, agility, and disruption. At the end of the day, that's really what it comes down to. And all those things really, innovation is a part of all of that. And if you're not constantly innovating and disrupting what you think you're falling behind. And if you're not willing to cannibalize your own really revenue, current revenue, and for the sake of innovation and growth, then you're falling behind already, right? And from a technology perspective, the world is going digital if it's not there already. You look at where we came from and where we're going. It's a drastic 180, and that reversal, that transition is really, it's enabled by technology. Mark,
I can jump in on that too, Rashawn. It totally agree with Matt. We're trying to take our company and just start with disruption, if you will, but end with transformation. It's really not even an end. It's really a continuum. Because Matt's right. The world is going digital. And our company, just the history of the company, it's over 100 years old. It's grown a lot through acquisitions. We've got, like many companies, a kludge of different technologies, applications, and systems, some well integrated, some not. Where are we going? We need a platform for the future. And this is really where Matt honed in on this last year. And when I came to the company, I totally agree with the strategy. Microsoft Dynamics. Microsoft is our platform. Dynamics F&O is our platform for operations and finance. And we're building into that ecosystem and figuring out how we migrate from a technology standpoint onto that platform. But then that's really just the beginning for us. From there, it's how else? How far can we go digital, up and down our supply chain, and internally inside the company, how we transform many of our manual processes to be digital. And that's really the process that we're in the middle of. And that, I think, supports, excuse me, that's intended to support where Matt's trying to take the business from a strategy standpoint, but also very tactically into markets and other segments so we can meet the needs of our consumers who are also in a very dynamic place.
So just to take a step back, as you embarked on the digital transformation and started looking at your long-term investments, why Microsoft Dynamics 365? What led you to that? There's a lot of competition in the marketplace. So what led you to D365.
Matt, you want me to jump in on that? Okay, so I would say to you that, first of all, it was a very strategic decision. And Matt, I give Matt a lot of credit. He really led us to Dynamics, helping us understand combination of our current state, our current needs, and then our future state. Where are we going? And business needs and technology needs, looking internally at where we need to be as a business, but also looking externally where the business needs to go to become the company it needs to be or it wants to be. And we put all that together, Mike. Where we come up with was a platform, that meets our needs as a distributor in a digital supply chain. And ultimately, the choice was for Microsoft Dynamics 365. We looked at the finance portion, all the capabilities there, the integration of the platform, looked at the operations side of it, the warehousing part of it, the connectivity with other trading partners that we have, how we want to automate things, integrated the ISVs, the integration part of it, the partners that have connectors into the platform to enable us to automate other parts of our process. When we looked at that and we considered the totality of that platform, it became clear that that was the way to go. There's one more piece of it too, Mike, which is the warehouse automation. So part of our digital transformation is that we're constructing a state-of-the-art distribution center, and we have some technology in there that integrates with Dynamics. Some of it is a robotic inventory management system. Some of it is advanced material handling systems, and the ease of which to integrate those technologies into the platform and leverage the Microsoft ecosystem and even the edge computing is another thing that took us toward Dynamics.
I jump in there to say, we chose the Dynamics Microsoft, because we want world-class partners in everything we do. We don't want to go through the motions in anything we do, and this is obviously a foundational thing to our business, and we can't pick anyone less than the best.
It's true, and I'll say one more thing. It's a great point, Matt. We know Microsoft has poured resources into building the Dynamics platform and building out the ecosystem, and that really made a huge impression on us. So it's not about just the ERP portion of it, right? It's about supporting a platform that can really support our growth, and the fact that Microsoft is pouring resources and standing behind it and is the kind of a partner that we think we need for our business to be successful.
That's a really great context. Thank you both so much for sharing that, right? And firstly, let me start off by saying we really appreciate your business and we appreciate you as a Microsoft customer. And it's been super exciting partnering with you and going on this journey with you. I love how you bring strategy, innovation, and growth all together, right? And when you talk a little bit about the finance setup, just in terms of the value prop of Dynamics, and then also supply chain distribution, warehouse management, and then having a platform that enables you to have cohesive integration with things like your robotic process automation and other tools and systems within your organization, right? That on the innovation side is one of the really strong points of the Microsoft portfolio, is where we pride ourselves, right? It's just giving our customers that flexibility to seamlessly communicate, to seamlessly optimize, and to seamlessly scale at the same time. But on the other side of that, more often than not, when I talk to customers, in addition to the technology and innovation value prop, there's an element of change management, because finance, distribution, supply chain are technologies that can be set up. But when it goes from the as is to the to be, or from the previous to the future, there's always that motion of change management that has to happen from a technology perspective, from a culture perspective, user adoption training, but then also customer service. I'd love to tap into your story a little bit about how you manage change management in the organization as it pertains to that transformation.
This is a big topic, Rashawn. I see Matt's nodding his head. I think every executive on our executive team would nod their head because it's clearly not about the technology. It is about change management, and change management has a lot of pieces to it. The user piece, the adoption piece is one. In fact, in our digital transformation, you could almost line up the pieces. If you start with the inside out, it starts with our back office functions, our finance and our operations, our IT. You can then move out a little bit in the circle to the parts of our company that touch the customers. Some of that Matt is involved with, but we have we have salespeople and marketing people, with people in the field. We also have an entire group that merchandises our product in the stores that needs to be touched. And of course, the outer rim of this is our trading partners and our retailers. And so we have quite a sophisticated strategy in place to manage all of that. And the foundation of it is sort of a successive rollout of go lives. You know, Rashawn, that we went live on the finance portion at the end of April. We'll have our first go live on operations July 1st, and our second go live will be the 27th of August. And we have other go lives later in the year in October and the end of the year. And that's sort of on purpose staged. Part of it is, you know, how much we can digest and how we basically begin to transform our operations and take them onto the platform. The other of it is the staging so that we can get our systems up and running, get our new warehouse in place, and we can get our product into the marketplace in a digestible way that allows us to continue to deliver to our customers in an uninterrupted manner, right? So it's very smooth and very seamless to the best we can. And the last thing I'll say, then I'll let Matt jump in, is that while I'm drawing a straight line here, on top of this, everything's still very dynamic, right? There's a lot of changes taking place, and you know, we're all right in the middle of it. We have customers that are coming on, we have new brands coming on, new products coming on, new processes are being put in place, new people coming in the organization. All of that needs to be educated and trained and have the same kind of adoption as we begin to take the platform forward, and we see the benefits of the change management process. I'll let Matt jump in on that too.
Yeah, Rashawn, it's like changing the brakes and the tires and the whole navigation while driving 100 miles an hour, right? It's not easy. It's not easy. Change management is not an easy thing. Mark has done a masterful job with a lot of it, and it's cultural. It's, you know, it's very easy to say where we are today. That's obvious. Here's the current state. Hard part is where are we going? But the hardest part, the real, is like, how do we get from current state to future state, right? And figuring out, because while you're going down that path, that future state, that goalpost is going to move. It's going to move inevitably, because the world, things don't stay the same. They change, right? Our goals change, our strategy change, that we pivot all the time. We have to be agile to fit the needs in the market. And it really is, you know, zigzagging and figuring out how to navigate all of that from an internal perspective, cultural, you know, emotional. Because again, a lot of our team we've been in place for a long time. We're hiring new people. It's changing up the technology platform that they have been, and processes that they've been doing for, you know, 15, 20 years. It's, you know, it's not easy. And so giving them the, you know, the tools and the support and the motivation to want to change.
It's interesting. On top of that, you made me think of something else, Matt. You know, one of the most gratifying things that I heard in the last week or two was when I asked some of our finance users what they thought of the Dynamics platform after going live. So about 2 weeks later, a couple of them said to me, "You know what? We love it." And I was gratified. I was a little astonished because it was only 2 weeks afterwards. But we know what they love about it. They love the fact that the modules are integrated in our legacy environment. We don't have integration of modules. We have to key things and rekey things sometimes back and forth. They love that the transactions flow. They love the integration with some of the third-party apps that we put in place, particularly for the AP automation. They love the ease of moving data in and out. So when they tell me things like this, it's gratifying. It means that the change management process is working, because we spent a lot of time, and frankly, we invested a lot in training our people, more than we actually ever thought we would have to, and it's begun to pay off. And even just this morning, I heard something we have, now that we're in place, and this is one of the lessons learned, you know, we didn't get everything automated that we wanted to at go live, and that's just, I think, every implementation. So we have another initiative now, looking at the things that we want to get and how do we then further digitize them, right? And we're forming those teams. And one of the teams actually told our group, the question was asked, you know, well, how do you feel about this after going live, and where's your head at, and how much can we push the envelope? And one of the responses was, you know what, we are so bullish on Dynamics, we want to push the envelope as hard as we can. And to me, again, that's kind of a gratifying acknowledgement, right, that the change process is working. So I'll just share those two things with you guys.
Awesome. So as you look at the change and you rolled out finance, what would you do different as you continue to roll it out into operations and warehouse and supply chain? What have you learned through the process in rolling it out into finance that you can incorporate and change as you move forward?
There are some definite lessons learned. Fortunately, we have some great partners. And it wouldn't be fair if I didn't acknowledge that. Our integration partner, Sunrise Technology, that focuses exclusively on retail and wholesale, has been a great implementation partner. We went through quite a substantial selection process. We selected them for that reason, that their expertise is in our industry, and it proved to be a very wise decision. That's one piece of it. The second piece, just internally, is amazing executive support and adoption at the executive level. I'll give Matt the credit here, but he knows he's not the only one. He's led the charge, but our CEO, our CFO, everybody, has been so supportive and driving toward it, and that sends a message to the organization. So that's kind of a lesson learned for me and for everybody. That management support, that push, and in all fairness to Matt, he's often pushing me, which is great. I never mind it, but that's his job, right? To be out there in front of us and help us be thinking about things. And I think an organization needs a role like that. Somebody to say, hey guys, this is where we're going. Don't forget, we got to do this, we got to do that, and so forth. A couple other quick things on my list is training. We went into this, and I don't think we envisioned enough that we had enough training. We ended up putting extra resources on it for our finance folks. And to your point, Mike, we are doing a similar thing with our operations side. In fact, we're extending it. Not only are we going to have training by process and by function, we're actually going to run what we call day in the life cycles of our entire replenishment and fulfillment cycle in the warehouse, and practice and rehearse before we have the go live July 1. And the last thing I would say is about testing. Early on, because we have a lot of integration here, and it impacts a lot of processes that we talked about and how we transform that, but also there's technical aspect to the integration. We put in place a manager of testing, a QA manager. We didn't have it in IT. We needed it for this program. And because we're integrating with about 10 different technology partners, we need somebody to have that oversight. And that, I think, was really very insightful. And again, very much supported by Matt in his role, thinking about how we're going to get this done. And that overall testing point of view, so it's not testing in isolation, Mike. It's testing, it is certainly unit testing, but it's testing the entire solution. That, I think, was very thoughtful up front, and I'm glad we did that. And that turned out to be very important as we went live in finance. And again, it'll be important when we go live on ops.
That's a really great context, right? Thank you so much for sharing that. I summarize our overall discussion with really how you embrace your personal growth drivers as a business, just in terms of how you serve your customers, but also how you enable your people for digital transformation, how you apply innovation by partnering with the right organizations that are making the right investments in the portfolio itself to enable you on that first point. And then lastly, I sense a strong element of proactivity coming from things like change management processes, embracing it, inspiring it, but then also ensuring that training and user adoption is accommodated for as well, through your point there, Mark. So excellent overview in the last 30 minutes of your organization and the technology adoption as well. Appreciate the shout out to the partners. I've got to tell you, in full transparency, our teams are super excited as it pertains to partnering with you as a customer. The culture, the theme, and just the mentality that everybody approaches technology within the organization has been excellent to see. And we're super excited to continue with you on this journey as you continue to grow as a company as well. I think this is a great place to end it. Thank you so much for taking the time, Matt, Mark, appreciate it. Great discussion. Mike, thank you so much as well. And yeah, look forward to celebrating more successes with you.